some stuff I got to do later on in the afternoon before I go to work. So apparently, according to Shakur Stevenson, he basically went online or social media and he basically aired Lomachenko out, accusing Lomachenko of basically not really trying to fight him and saying that Lomachenko is basically possibly trying to retire rather than get in the ring with Shakur Stevenson. It wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. And Lomachenko may be at a point in his career where he's evaluating, is there any more winnable fights out there for him? Me, myself, I think if he fights Shakur Stevenson, I think Shakur Stevenson would beat Lomachenko decisively, up and including stopping Lomachenko. It's not impossible for, and it's not out of the norm if Shakur Stevenson stops Lomachenko. I mean, Shakur Stevenson doesn't have devastating power, but he can break you down with accumulation of punches, and he could get you up out of there. And Lomachenko has been hurt in fights, and Lomachenko has been dropped before. So why would it come to a surprise that Shakur Stevenson would be, would be able to stop Lomachenko, which I think he has the capability of stopping Lomachenko. But he's basically saying that Lomachenko is trying to retire on him rather than get in the ring. The thing is with Lomachenko, you got to ask, where is Lomachenko right now as a fighter? Lomachenko is what, 32, 33, 34, something like that. Keep in mind, Lomachenko has had a lengthy career as an amateur and a professional fighter. Lomachenko, I think, he didn't go pro till he was around 26, 20, 25, 26, something like that, after having like a astronomical amount of amateur fights, then electing to go to the Olympics twice instead of becoming pro. So, Lomachenko has a lot of wear and tear on him. So Lomachenko probably is looking at his options. Losing that fight to Devin Haney was devastating on him. Then, if you look at Lomachenko's past few performances, he lost to Devin Haney. You can make an argument of whether the fight was controversial or not. Some people thought that Lomachenko did enough to win. I didn't think Lomachenko did enough to win. Then you look at the fight before that. You look at some of his other fights. You can make an argument that Jermaine Ortiz did enough to get the nod versus Lomachenko. But because people play politics and politics, keep in mind Lomachenko is what you would call the media favorite. So they might just give him the edge because they feel like his name is out there a little bit more, and then they could possibly send him up for a big fight. But the biggest fight that Lomachenko could have had, which was on pay-per-view, he didn't win. So now, you have to wonder, okay, so is he looking possibly to take another chance of fighting Shakur Stevenson and losing? Because if Lomachenko loses to Shakur Stevenson, then he really, his career really takes a downward spiral. So he can't afford another loss like that. So is it like, okay, I'll just retire instead of fighting Shakur Stevenson? Or is Lomachenko possibly looking for one last big payday? There is the option of Lomachenko getting in the ring with Tank Davis, even though I think Tank Davis would sleep Lomachenko. Is that an option? Like I said before, I'm gonna do my due diligence. I'm gonna do my investigation, and see what's going on with this. But boy, if this is true, Shakur Stevenson is beginning to find himself between a rock and a hard place. If he can't get Lomachenko in the ring, then you have to wonder, okay, what's out there for Shakur Stevenson? So now is Shakur Stevenson becoming the new Terrence Crawford? Kind of ironic because, Shakur Stevenson is pretty tight with Bud Crawford. So now you have to wonder, okay, is Shakur Stevenson gonna turn into the guy on the outside looking in? Is he gonna be the new, not guy? And what I mean by not the it guy, the not guy, and what I mean by that, people do not want to fight this dude, you know. So you have to wonder because you're starting to look and see, okay, what is out there for Shakur Stevenson? A fight with Jermaine Ortiz is it could be in the cards, but you know, Jermaine Ortiz has a fight coming up pretty soon. I think he has a fight coming up next month. So you would have to see what's out there for Shakur Stevenson. But if Lomachenko is doing this, then it wouldn't surprise me because Lomachenko ain't what they make him out to be. He never was what they made him out to be. I do feel to a certain degree he was what you would call a manufactured, so-called pound for pound fighter. Lomachenko, if you look at his resume isn't that impressive. You know, he has some okay wins on there, but his biggest win is against Gary Russell Jr., Nicholas Walters, and then Guillermo Rigondeaux. Guillermo Rigondeaux was way smaller than Lomachenko. But the funny thing is, when you ask Lomachenko to go up in weight, he says, "Oh, he's too." He says himself he's too small for certain weight classes. So I just find that ironic. Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. was a decent win, but Gary Russell Jr. has had his ups and downs as far as availability go and activity versus inactivity. Then the same thing with Nicholas Walters. I mean, like, what the hell didn't happen to Nicholas Walters? I mean, you ain't heard from that dude in years. So you have to just put this stuff out there and ask these questions, like, what the hell is going on with with Lomachenko? He talks a good game. He says, "Hey, I want a rematch with Devin Haney," but does he really want a rematch with Devin Haney? Then you hear about him being being the mandatory for a rematch with Devin Haney, which I felt like, how could that be when he lost? But it appears that Shakur Stevenson is one of the mandatories. But they're trying to do an elimination to where they could get these two to fight, which would be an easy fight to make. But according to Shakur Stevenson, Lomachenko is contemplating retirement. Now I'm doing my research to see if this is true. But wouldn't be a good look for Lomachenko. And this is what I've been saying about Lomachenko, and this is why I never believed in Lomachenko. But then people were making it look like this dude was unbeatable, unstoppable. And then keep in mind, Lomachenko lost his second professional fight. He lost to a journeyman that drives Uber. So there you have it. But we will see. I just wanted to put that out there. But Lomachenko, it ain't looking too good for him these days. Lomachenko, every direction that he goes, there is not a soft touch for him. There's no more, soft touches for him or shoe-in fights. And what I mean by shoe-ins, fights that he's guaranteed to win. He's not guaranteed a win in a rematch versus Jermaine Ortiz. More than likely, a fight with Shakur Stevenson, he would be the underdog. Then, if he just elects and say, you know what, I'm ready to cash out, contact Al Heyman, and let's see what happens in a fight with Tank. Then, there you have it. If he just elects to go to a fight with Tank, that's just basically his retirement fight, which I think Al Heyman and Tank and the PBC will be willing to make that fight. Because I think they feel at this stage that Gervonta Tank Davis can take Lomachenko. What they have been confident enough to make this fight maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Maybe not. But now, yeah, I think they would do it. I really would. So, with that being said, just wanted to give you guys a quick rundown. I will be back in maybe 10 to 15 minutes. It's your boy Town. I'm out.